Elad Burko, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right, this is, I guess, is our first session of morning drinking.
Yeah.
So, first of all, thank you to Libira for hosting us again. It looks like this is going to be our spot for these conversations. So, thank you to Leonid, the owner. And this place is a godsend for us. Really great food, really great beer, and a spot in Haifa that we really love and really encourage everyone to come by if you're around. All right, so today we're going to be talking, we have an opportunity to be able to talk about a project before it's live and talk about the intricacies of getting something together. You've been working on a bag, a really interesting take on a women's bag that we want to talk a little bit about.
Yeah.
As you're getting ready to launch it in a little bit less than a month's time, right?
Yeah. This month.
This month.
Yeah, July.
So July 29th, I think you were saying?
Yeah,
right?
July 29th, July 30th, we should be live. That's the planned date.
Cool. So without further ado, I mean, if you could just tell us a little bit about the bag.
Yeah.
How you got into it.
Sure.
What's special about it. And then about the process of how we got here.
Definitely. So I've been doing, crowdfunding, branding, storytelling, marketing for a very long time. And I was approached by a group of entrepreneurs out of Paris, a designer, who had this idea for this bag. Knowing Kickstarter and seeing what's been on Kickstarter, bags have been done on Kickstarter. So I wasn't, all too hyped to hear it was a bag. But the second she got into the details about what she wanted to do, what her history was, what her family did in the past with the brand that they've had in the past, I really opened my eyes, opened my ears, and I fell in love with what she was telling me. So the bag is...
So you're partnering with folks in Paris who make these bags?
Yeah.
And you're doing this as a collaborative project?
Yeah, definitely. What's special about the bag is a lot. I guess what they did is this designer, her name is Natasha Sarusi. She really understood that there was a need in the market for a bag that is what we call on Kickstarter the everyday bag. You have so many everyday bags for photography, the everyday bag for men, the everyday bag for travel.
Yeah.
She had, in her mind, the everyday bag for women. And this whole thing came out because she saw, in Paris you have these women that are dressed to the nines, the beautiful shoes and the great dress and everything, and they're going to work, and she noticed sitting in her dad's shop in the morning, she was just people watching, and she watched all these beautiful women dressed to the nines walk by with like a huge, ugly backpack on their back because they needed to carry their stuff to work, or they needed to carry their stuff to a meeting, or whatever it was. So you have these women dressed to the nines, and you had this product that kind of took away because the handbag wasn't doing the job that functionality-wise that the bag needed to. So for function purposes, they were using a backpack, and it was a backpack that didn't go with the style and everything else that the woman. It was a very stark contrast to her.
Yeah.
And she said there has to be a bag that will accentuate this, instead of taking away from the style that the Parisian woman has, it will accentuate that. And she designed the bag for function. The most important thing for her was for the bag to be as
100%.
Beautiful as possible.
Oh, first of all...
The number one thing was beauty. She wanted this bag to be amazing, gorgeous. So that was number one. After that, it needed to be comfortable and functional, right? She wanted this bag to be the last bag you'll ever need. A bag that you can wear to the theater, a bag that you can go to work and have your laptop and your accessories on, and a bag that you can go to coffee with a friend, just for a casual meeting. And that was the first thing was beauty. The second thing was functionality and versatility and comfort. And the third thing was she wanted it to be eco-friendly and organic, and she didn't want to use materials that would be, she really has a conscience, this girl, and it really like pounds on her.
Right.
So she really wanted to do something that would be good. She didn't want to just have another bag out there. She wanted the bag to be something good, something ethical, organic, vegan, and so forth.
Right, so no leather.
Yeah, no leather. So her father created one of the biggest, a well-known fashion house in Paris. And he was using things like leather.
Right.
And she came in, she started working with him, and the main thing she didn't like is this whole combination of these materials that he was using, and a lot of that took effect on her. So what she did is she said, I want to do it, but I want to do it my way. And she joined up with her father. She partnered up with her father, and she started to look for alternatives. How do I make something that is still as beautiful as what my dad makes with the function, but more ethical?
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So just wondering, what material did you guys end up with?
So they have a very special, it's a high-end, really special type of cork material that is, I don't know, it's processed, it's worked on in a way that's very, if you see the material, you'll think it's leather. It won't look like cork. It's resilient, it's durable, it's waterproof.
That's cool.
And it has attributes that actually make it even better than leather. Leather is a very heavy material. They have a leather bag as well.
Yeah.
This thing weighs. It weighs several kilos.
Right.
This bag, because it's made of cork is 3 times lighter than leather. So it's a much lighter bag, and that's something that also women like about the bag. When you're carrying a backpack or a handbag or a tote, you want the bag to be as light as possible because that adds to the comfort of the bag. And that's, I guess, another thing that I'll say about the bag. The bag is not just a backpack.
Yeah.
She designed this bag to be your bag. Where comfort comes into play, she wanted it to be comfortable for the woman, not only for it to be for any day and any occasion, but she also wanted it to be comfortable to carry.
Right.
So sometimes a woman wants a handbag, and a handbag is over the shoulder.
Yeah.
Sometimes a woman you want a backpack because it distributes that weight evenly, and it's easier to walk through the city with your laptop and a bunch of stuff that might be a little heavier.
So you can carry it here, you can carry it in your shoulder, you can carry it in your back.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a briefcase. So you have 3 different ways to carry it.
Very
and she designed this really beautiful system of using the straps in an ingenious way so that the bag becomes versatile to the point where you have 3 different ways. It's really 3 bags packed in one. It's a handbag, it's a backpack, and it's a briefcase.
Cool.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, I want to get into a lot of the details about the bag later on, but we're trying to focus a lot on the crowdfunding process as we go into it. So a couple of questions come to mind. The first one is about Kickstarter itself. You've been doing Kickstarter projects for several years now.
Yeah.
What is it like going into another Kickstarter project now in 2019, July 2019? How is that different from doing things, I remember your first project was in 2016, I think, or so?
Somewhere there. I don't know exactly, but years ago.
Right. How is it different now? What are you doing? I'm
doing a lot more now. I'm really, once you understand the system of once you understand the platform,
right,
then you start to understand the audience. And once you understand the audience, you can adapt the product. And then once you understand that you have product market fit with the product and the audience on the platform, then you can start to market as well.
Right, because you're really threading the needle here. Because you have what looks like a fantastic project and a fantastic product.
Thank you.
And it's centered on women, and Kickstarter, as we know, is male-centered.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I don't know what the
that's-
percentage is now.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it's
tell
huge.
me about
it's
that
huge on the
challenge.
male side.
Right.
And that's definitely something that
How do you address that?
I don't know. You know, as an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
I kind of I see that I have certain opportunities. I look at this as an obstacle. This is definitely something. This is probably the thing I fear most in the project when it comes to it's an unknown for me. I've never launched a project where the product was the target market was women on Kickstarter, and I know already coming into it that it's an uphill battle because women are not the majority on Kickstarter.
Do you remember what the percentage is? Because I don't.
I don't remember what the percentages. I don't remember what the percentages
But
are.
it is skewed towards men for sure.
It's highly skewed towards men. Yeah. So it means that there's a lot less women on there. Women are not used to buying, and I think that this bag is something special. I think that this bag is something that, if it hits the right women, if it hits the right market, the demographic, hopefully people will share it onwards outside of Kickstarter, and we'll be able to bring more women into Kickstarter. And that's my goal, because at the end of the day, the bag itself is something that any woman would want. And that's not just me saying it. That's through research and interviews and surveys.
Yeah.
We know exactly what women want, and most women, when they see this bag, especially the women, we've done testimonials, when women see the bag in real life, when they feel it, when they try it on, when they actually get their hands on it, they fall in love with it. They want it, and there's a reason for that. It's just there's nothing on the market like it, and it's a no-brainer when it comes to it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, if we just look back to a few of the projects that you've done before with your wallets, I think that the thing that you've had that worked for you really, really well were your videos. I think it's fair to say that we have a small group of entrepreneurs locally, and we talk with each other. We try to discuss what works and what doesn't. And your videos stand out because you've made use of a really good stop motion technique. I think is it stop motion?
We use a lot of stop motion, not all the time, but
Yeah.
we really think of ourselves as a creative. We're very creative when it comes to the content, and the content is very important because people don't get to see us up close and personal. I wish I would be able to just give the bag to people, but I'm not able to, especially with Kickstarter. So I try to make. We highly invest in the content to the point where we try to really get them as close as possible to the product.
Yeah, and I think it
they
does
can
the
touch
job.
it.
Like I wish that we had like access to the stuff that you've been using because I think it's really, really good.
Yeah.
It tells a story really, really well.
Yeah. So that's what I think it is. I think it's storytelling. It's not really the techniques. Maybe it's not stop motion, or it's not. We use really quality people who are very experienced in what they do. This campaign we shot almost all of it in Paris. So like the whole thing was shot in Paris, and we hired an amazing cameraman, and we had the works from makeup to the planning and the storytelling and all of that. It's really about the story.
So this is a big project.
It's a big project, yeah. It's a big project. We really believe in the bag. The more you believe in something, the more you're willing to invest in it and give it your all. And really, those are the projects that I especially today, I only take on projects that I really believe in, and this is one of them. And
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to stop you.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying I really believe in it, and we invest wholly in the creative, and we try to get to that point where the viewer will be able to get as close as possible to the bag as possible.
So where do you see it going?
Where-
What are your expectations? I mean, you're going to be launching in 3 or 4 weeks?
Yeah, my expectations are really unknown. I never set. My expectations are, I hope we succeed, and failure is looming. And the reason I do that because I never want to give myself. I never want to give if I overthink it, or if I really think it's going to be huge, I think it's going to. going to be $1 million project, and it ends up not being, it'll be $500,000, maybe I'll be a little bit disappointed. So I just always say to myself, this is the beginning of a business. I really believe in these people as entrepreneurs. I believe in these people, and I believe that they have the designer is something special. Natasha Sarusi is something special, and I think that she has a lot up her sleeve. And I think that years down the line, she's going to be recognized in the community, in the fashion community, as one of the designers.
Amazing.
So I really look at this long term. I look at this as the first kind of drop in the ocean that will create waves. But at the same time, I hope for the best.
Yeah.
And giving myself that failure as an option that might happen lets me at least be a little bit more calm and focus on what I need to, instead of being nervous about launching.
Yeah, I mean, failure, for all of us, failure is like, it's a great lesson, it's a great stepping stone, it's all of these things, it's everything that we need. But it's just about calibrating your expectations as to what you want to happen.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the tools you'll be using, marketing-wise.
Yeah.
So I think we're marketeers at heart.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs tend to have like a marketer's, DNA. What are you thinking of using or what have you been using? What have you been doing so far, and what do you want to do down the road?
So I'll tell you what, we've been doing the standard. We've been doing what you need to do in order to get a campaign. We're right now, like about 2 weeks ago, we started a pre-marketing campaign where we're just showing people kind of teasers about the bag to gauge interest, and then if they're interested in being early bird backers, they're able to sign up to a list, and then we notify them the day that we launch.
Is it with video or just with images?
We're testing all sorts of things. We're testing video, we're testing GIFs, we're testing images, and we're kind of seeing what works best. But we're not giving the whole story away. We're giving just enough to gauge, to get their interest and get their email if they're interested in being one of our early bird backers. We're going to have significant discounts for early bird backers for the first few days. Yeah, and I think that marketing-wise, one of the things that we came up with is, this is a bag for women, and Kickstarter is a platform for men.
Yeah.
So we said to ourselves, how are we going to do this, marketing-wise?
Yeah.
And it's a challenge. We'll see when we get there. Yeah. When we're actually live, we're going to run all sorts of ads. But I think one of the things that we realized is all women want this bag, especially from our research and our surveys. They see it, they want it.
Yeah.
Women are not on Kickstarter, so it's going to be really hard to get them to convert. But men are on Kickstarter, and men have wives and girlfriends, and we're making this product as giftable as possible.
It's so funny. Like, we're on like the opposite side of that.
Yeah.
What we make, like the tumblers that we make, these that we keep drinking out of, morning drinking, Heim.
Cheers.
Are the opposite. Like, these are like super like guys gifts. And what we end up noticing is that girls see the Kickstarter, and then they're like, "Hey, take a look at this," and they end up buying.
Amazing. So that's what we're not counting on it, but we're building a strategy for that. And we want guys on Kickstarter to know you're gonna need to buy your woman a gift for Valentine's Day, for Christmas, or you know what, just any day. She deserves it.
Right.
This is the gift that will make her happy. This is a gift that she'll use every single day, and this is a gift that will give her real value in her every single day. I mean, you don't get a gift as good as that that comes across your table and just like on a silver platter. And this is what it is. It's Kickstarter. We're selling it for a discounted price. We have amazing manufacturing all lined up. Everything is set, and our goal is to be able to supply this, and hopefully. We believe we can do it and deliver before Christmas.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
If you think you can do that, that's a game changer.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about production for a second. I mean, we'll get back to marketing because that's really something that interests us. So what's the plan for production?
The plan for production is we're keeping everything open. We already have partners in Portugal. The material is made in Portugal.
Oh yeah, because cork is in Portugal usually.
Yeah, and also like we're working with the best of the best when it comes to cork. Cork is extremely sustainable, and we're working with the best of the best people who are very ethical and really care about the environment. And the cork tree itself, as long as you remove the cork every 7 to 10 years, what's really nice about it, I didn't know this, but
the tree keeps on growing.
the tree keeps growing,
Yeah.
the tree releases more oxygen.
Yeah.
It's actually good for the environment. So the bag, by you wearing and having the bag,
Yeah.
you did something positive for the environment, because the tree that gave the cork to make the bag is living, breathing, and releasing even more oxygen.
No, it's amazing. Like
It's-
we have some cork products, and we're super happy with the
Yeah.
process. And we got to know some people in Portugal doing
Yeah.
similar stuff. It's very exciting.
Yeah. But at the same time, so we have these guys in Portugal. The material's going to come from there. It's the best of the best when it comes to quality.
Yeah.
And also the process. They're the only ones in the world that can refine it to this process where it really looks and feels like leather.
Right.
And that's amazing. On top of that, when it comes to production, through all my projects, I've produced things all across the world: South America, Asia, even the United States, Europe, Eastern Europe. So it's far and wide, and there's a lot of people that are going to be. It's a high-end product, and we're looking for the top of the top when it comes to the artisans that are going to be handcrafting this thing, because it is a handmade piece. So we have several options for manufacturing, and we'll see who we'll work with. We're kind of leaving that open until we see how the Kickstarter does, and then we're going to start negotiations to make sure we're getting the best quality, the best ethical standards we can possibly get, and the best price.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you're a month away from launching. So why don't you walk us through, just so that we can kind of like have a conversation going on with people who are interested in launching a project soon. What are you doing now? What are the things that you're doing as far as making sure people know that you're launching in a month's time? And what are the steps that you're taking to be able to launch, July 29th?
Yeah. So what we're doing right now is the pre-marketing campaign. We have Facebook ads with little snippets, little teasers of what the bag's going to be, visually and copy-wise, where we let them know what the bag is. We're trying to target women on Kickstarter, and we're saying, are you interested? And we're seeing how many women are actually interested, who's interested, and how many.
Right. How's the testing going?
So far, so good. I mean, so far we started the first round of testing. We're about to enter the second round of testing, and we're already at our target.
Oh, cool.
So it's really, really nice. From here, we're only going to increase, and we're only going to get better. So that's very promising.
And who will you be using as your media services throughout the project? Or do you have that planned? Have you thought about it?
Media services in what sense?
As either Facebook ads
or So we're doing, anything that will work. We start off by testing. We start off right now in pre-campaign. We're doing Facebook ads,
Are you doing
Instagram.
them on your own, or are you using someone else?
Right now we're doing it on our own. For pre-campaign, currently we're doing it on our own. We're in talks with several marketing companies to see if anyone is interested in jumping on for pre-campaign as well. We might use them. We're very good at doing our own marketing as well. One of the things about me is whenever I do a project, I like to get my hands dirty.
Right.
I want to make sure that things are as good as possible. So even if I'll work with a marketing company, and I work with all of them,
Right.
at the same time I'll do my own marketing to see, how things work on my side, because you never know what's going to happen on the other side.
Tell me about it. Like,
And
you guys you're kind of unique as far as that goes, because we tend to be like, we are 15 projects deep. We've done, a lot. I tend to say too many, but we learn from each one. And we shied away from doing things on our own.
Yeah.
And it's great to see you doing the ads on your own and making sure that you see these things firsthand.
Yeah.
'Cause it is unique. Usually people don't do that.
Yeah, I do that because at the end of the day, when you're running a business, this is my philosophy.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything about anyone else, but when I run a business, I like to learn a little bit about everything.
Yeah.
And then if things don't go well with a marketing company,
That's all you.
I can push them aside and I can
Yeah.
say, okay, no worries. I'll continue with mine, and then I'm not pressured to find another one. I'm more at ease. I understand how things are going and what the numbers are, and in my time, I'll be able to get a better marketing company. And at the same time also, when I get that marketing company, I'm able to tell them what works, what doesn't, because I've been doing it myself.
Because the difference is between doing things on your own and then doing things with, and it's not, I mean, we're not talking about marketing companies who are just, out there doing marketing for everyone. These are people with a Kickstarter, they specialize in Kickstarter, which is important because you end up having the database from Kickstarter, and people who end up purchasing in Kickstarter are more likely to purchase again on Kickstarter. But again, you have a double challenge.
Yeah.
Because you have, Kickstarter backers, but at the same time, you're looking for women Kickstarter backers.
Yeah.
This is a really interesting challenge that will be really interesting to follow up on.
I think that I look at a challenge, it's two-faced. It's definitely a challenge, and it'll be harder for us to succeed with this campaign. I personally think that the bag itself will prove itself and the content that we created, and people will jump on it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a challenge. And I think about it in this way. If I'm able to succeed with a female targeted product on Kickstarter, then I'm one of the few. And most of the projects on Kickstarters are geared towards men, and there's a reason for that. But if you're able to make a women project successful, that opens up a whole new range of products for me, a whole new demographic, it just opens up doors in general when it comes to this. And I think that women like to buy. If you look at on Kickstarter, maybe it's men. On Kickstarter, it's men. On Amazon, I'm sure that more women are buying, and they're buying more often. And when it comes to fashion, forget about it. Guys don't even like to walk in a store. A woman, give them some plastic and send them off. You won't see them for days. So it's like you want to be able to get there. And we want to get there first with Kickstarter, and then once we're there with Kickstarter and we have a success, it plays that much more on me, on my reputation, on the brand's reputation, and on what we can do with it from there on in.
Interesting. Well, I'm trying to think back to some of our experience with this. We worked on a project. This is going back 2 years ago on a planner, it was like a calendar type planner. And when we looked at that, and then our main competitors were planners that were aimed at women, and they did supremely well. Really, really well. And I was like, we looked at that and we're like, we were working on something that was very technical. It was like a very technical planner. And the other planner was more, how do you integrate your family life into business, into running your household, and so on and so on and so on. And so on. And it was amazing. It was like it was really, really, really successful. It was $1 million project. And we looked at that and we're like, maybe everything that we think we know, we don't know. And I was wondering, how you look at past projects like that and say to yourself, okay, they succeeded, I can succeed, or are you trying something new?
I never gain my inspiration. I'm not, as much as I love Kickstarter, I don't surf Kickstarter. And I'm not looking for products.
You don't, really?
Yeah, I don't.
Are you serious?
I don't. Maybe, if it's one of my creator friends or if it's something like that, I'll look into a specific campaign.
Yeah, I know that we do.
The reason I don't is because I try not to get my inspiration from Kickstarter. And I think that Kickstarter, there's a lot of trends in Kickstarter.
Yeah.
One bag succeeds, all of a sudden there's a lot of bags. One type of board game succeeds, and then there's a lot of copycats.
Right.
And one of the things that I really like to do is I try not to, it's easy to do the copycat thing, and I'm not saying that you guys did it, I'm just saying that for me.
Oh, we absolutely did.
Oh, you did?
Just to make sure.
You did, great, okay.
We are inspired all the time by other projects.
And that's fine.
Sure.
Pablo Picasso said, the good artists create, great artists copy. So at the end of the day, maybe you're just a great artist. But
no, I mean, we are inspired by things that are
inspired
around us.
For sure. So I guess the way that I look at it is, when it comes to Kickstarter, the things that I'm inspired by are the techniques and the creative that people do, less the products. And I really look at I'll follow a campaign that I really like just to see what they're doing, how they're marketing, what the Facebook ad is that I'll see, how their updates look.
Yeah.
what their creative is, how they made the video and what they did and what worked for them and what didn't. And even post-campaign, what they're doing with their website and all of that.
Right.
When it comes to the product itself, I really like to be as out of the ballpark as possible. Just different. I have several projects that I'm working on right now. One of them being the bag, and the bag is extremely different.
Right.
Even though it kind of, if you look at it, if I just tell you, hey, we're doing an everyday bag on
Yeah.
Kickstarter, and I don't tell you more than that.
I'm like, not another everyday bag.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
And then when you go into the details, you see this
Yeah.
is something special. This is something
Yeah,
designed
I
for
think
women.
we'll be
This
showing
is-
the video, right, Max? We'll show a couple of bits from the video. So the video looks different.
Yeah.
It looks interesting, looks appealing. I think it serves a purpose very well as far as making sure that people understand that this is something different. But at the same time, I'm like, you're fighting fatigue. I'm like, and again, we have the advantage of seeing a few years back. Our first bag launched, I think, 5 or 6 years ago.
I bought the bag.
Yeah.
I
awesome.
love the bag.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
It's our best seller to this day.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are like so many bags on Kickstarter that you're like, all right, what now? And that goes together with conversions. So like and this is good advice for people who want to launch a bag now.
Yeah.
If you want to take a look at whether or not your bag will work, the conversion for it, in other words, like your return on investment is 1 to 3.
Yeah.
Or maybe on a good day.
Yeah.
So it's hard to figure out what you can do differently, and what you're doing is really interesting because you're obviously appealing to women. You have like amazing copy, and the whole idea of having something be related to an amazing designer in Paris is cool and different, and not what's on Kickstarter right now.
Yeah.
It'll be really interesting to follow along in like a month's time and see where you guys are at.
Definitely. I think that one of the things that just popped into my head, we didn't even say the name of the bag yet.
Go ahead.
So it's the name of the designer is Natasha Sarusi, but we're a group of people. It's not just her. She's the designer of the bag, and we're a group of people pushing forward this bag. And the name of the bag is Bobo Bark. Look for it on Kickstarter.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Not used to doing plugs like that simple, but yeah, that
Yeah,
works great.
I mean, people need to know. They've been listening to us for the past I don't even know how long, and they're wondering, okay, how do I find this thing? Now they
100%.
know.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That works great. All right. So I want to have a quick chat on production. See what your important points are for production. When we talk to, I want to go back to 2 conversations that we had. So we just had a conversation with Iran from Green Inbox, and the whole conversation centered around the $1 million project, how to become the $1 million project, which is really super interesting.
Yeah.
And a lot of it has to do with production. And the second conversation we had with Neta Shalgi from Giro, who is running a $1 million project right now, also centers on production. Like how do you hit the sweet spot between making sure your product is amazing, cost effective, and then offering that to your backers? Like how do you juggle that?
There's only one way. It's a lot of hard work, and it's being on the ground.
Yeah.
And with Paper Wallet, I did that myself. I created the product in my own studio. I flew to Brazil. I flew to my manufacturing partners in China, and I saw what they were doing and how they were doing it, and I taught them, and we worked and printing and getting your hands dirty until you get to the quality that the quality standard that you can actually feel proud selling or giving to somebody. The way I look at it is I want to give it to my best friend. If I want to give something to my best friend, I want it to be the best quality. That's how I think about every single product I give or I sell to the market.
Yeah.
Because every customer is important to me. With this project, it's a lot easier. So I partnered up with these guys. Eli Sarusi is Natasha's father. Eli Sarusi has been in the business for over 30 years. He's been manufacturing jewelry, leather bags for over 30 years. His stuff is the top of the top. You know, like he lives and breathes fashion, Parisian quality. Like that's what he's all about. And
she's like the new generation of this.
she's the new generation. She's the one that said, you were doing it with leather, and I want to take it, redesign it, make it for today's woman, and make it sustainable.
See, like that's a win-win, no matter what.
Exactly.
Like,
so
Kickstarter and no Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Like that's a win-win.
That's why I say.
It begs the question, why Kickstarter? You know, like, I mean, this should have been my first question, but like, why?
Kickstarter gives us the opportunity to launch a product as close as possible to the way Apple launches a product, right? We want to be able to invite all of the press and invite all the potential customers and make this big hoorah and this big show. And Kickstarter is the place to do that, and that's how I see it. So yeah, we can go and, you know, open a shop in Paris and, you know, go to all the trade shows and go straight for the B2B and try to be in all the hot spots, which that's our next step, that's our next stage. But we're not there yet, because I'd want to, before I even get to that B2B and before I get to the trade show, show people what we've done on Kickstarter.
The big launch engine.
The huge
launch engine.
You know, the hurrah, the craziness, the launch, and just being able to create as much hype that this bag deserves, that Natasha deserves, that Ellie deserves, and give them a platform to go long term. Like I said, I really believe in Natasha and in Ellie long term, and I believe that this bag being the this is a lot saying for me. I probably shouldn't say it, but I believe that La Flor, which is the brand that they created, and Bobo Bark, which is the first product they created, will be at the forefront of the fashion industry when it comes to vegan, eco, and sustainable bags.
Very cool. I mean, well, we'll launch this little video and see it in a year's time. And
exactly. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I don't think so.
I think we'll be right. Very cool. All right, last couple of points on bags.
Sure.
So for us, just because we've been making bags for the 7th year, we had really good success with putting our bags on Gadget Flow's system. And they did really well. So we had several options over the years, and this is going back a long time ago when the system was very, very different. And they had different packages, and the conversion was amazing. We had conversions way back in 2015 of like 7-to-1 and 8-to-1, which was like phenomenal.
Yeah.
And today, I think we had one, I think it was 3 or 4 months ago, again with our Vortex bags, which are super popular. They've been around for a long, long time.
Yeah.
We just put them on there, and they did the work really, really well. Just have you had a chance to do work with folks at Gadget Flow?
Definitely. Worst experience ever.
Ever.
Horrible. No, I'm joking. So actually, we worked with Gadget Flow, I think, with every single campaign we've ever launched.
Amazing.
It's always been ROI positive. It's always been, it's like, at the end of the day, Kickstarter is get as many eyes as you can. And as long as you're not paying for those eyes, even if you're breaking even to get those eyes and you're getting the conversions, it's a win-win. Your visibility, your sales have grown, there's more reputation that you've built. And Gadget Flow provides that. And it provides it better, I think, than anyone else on there, because I'll tell you something that probably... Whoa.
Technical difficulty. Are we good, Max? Yeah, go ahead.
I think that even when Gadget Flow doesn't perform, you can really trust them. You have someone to speak to. And we had a campaign that they drove a lot of traffic. The problem with the campaign was it's a very low-priced item.
These were your wallets?
This was, one of the previous wallets that we did, and we worked the Gadget Flow. Because it was a low-priced item, they needed to create a lot more conversions in order to cover the cost of the promotion that they were going for.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they almost reached that amount of conversions, which first of all was amazing to be able to get that from them.
Yeah.
But that amount that they weren't able to cover,
yeah.
They actually came through and they said to me, you know what, Elad, we're sorry. We weren't able to cover and create a positive ROI. We're going to refund you that extra bit.
Did they really?
Yeah, they did. So like,
That's unheard of.
it is unheard of, and it's great to know that when you have a partner,
Yeah.
it's a real partner. It's
Yeah.
someone who actually cares and looks at your bottom line and says, I'm not in it just to make a buck from you. I'm in it to help you,
Yeah.
and if I'm not able to help you, we'll find a way between us to call it even,
Yeah.
so that,
My experience has been personable, effective,
yeah,
and my takeaway has always been it exists on Gadget Floor for however long, and then it gets picked up in all kinds of weird places that I never expected.
yeah.
So like it got picked up in like more eyeballs from all over the world in different places that I was like, well, all right. So it's decent ROI. It gets to where I want it to go. And just recently with our Vortex, it was like, all right, we did not expect sales like we did in April because
Yeah.
April for us is not a powerful month. So it was
Yeah.
like, great.
No,
So-
it's true. That's what I'm saying. Like at the end of the day, the more eyeballs, the more visibility you get, and then you end up getting more press.
No.
It's a no-brainer because it's no risk.
Right.
And the reason it's no risk is because you always have someone to talk to. They have their plans. You jump in on one of their plans.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't work out, let them know you have someone to talk to, and usually it will work out. And that's how it was with us. I think we have like 90% it works out. That one time was the only time I think that it really didn't pan out. And even when it didn't pan out, they were super fair with us. So amazing.
Cool. All right. So your project will be out in like 3 or 4 weeks from when we're filming this. So hopefully when you see this, the project will be live.
Yeah.
That's my hope. It should be really interesting, and we'll be able to kind of like update this as we go.
Yeah.
Also, it's important for you guys to know we're going to be having more chats like this about various other projects, not so much our own, to be able to provide the experience that we have into other projects that are going live right now. So it should be really interesting.
Yeah, and I think that basically, let me just pitch it one more time.
Yeah, please go
Whether
ahead.
it's for you or it's for your significant other, it's Bobo Bark on Kickstarter. Bobobark. Yeah, I think I spelled it right. I had a few too many right in the morning, but Bobo Bark on Kickstarter. Come join us, and you will not be disappointed. You'll have one of the very first unique handmade pieces from a designer who's going to be something special in the future. So, thank you.
Thank you for joining.
Cheers. Thank you.
All right.
for
Till next
having
time.
me.
Take care.